Hello, my name is Mark Haag, Superintendent, Lenawee Intermediate School District. Have you ever wondered how do schools or organizations decide how to start new initiatives or programs? Though there likely could be many answers, the truth is most school organizations, including the Lenawee Intermediate School District, could use a more systematic and thoughtful way of starting new initiatives. Sadly, decisions have often been reached by limited research, bringing home ideas from a trade show, and doing it because everybody or the neighboring district is doing it, and so on. The Lenawee Intermediate School District is adopting a much more systematic method of making decisions in both starting and ending programs that will not only lead to better outcomes for students, but likely make better use of the community's limited resources and investments. This new process will involve any member of a group of individuals within the organization or tightly tied to the organization to bring the idea or effective innovation to a member of the LISD management team. An effective innovation is described as a substantial program or practice which may be evidence-based, the implementation of which will result in improvement in one or more identified areas of need within the LISD. Effective innovations must be teachable, learnable, doable, and readily accessed in practice. Substantial programs and practices include those which are expected to require a significant financial, personnel time, or other commitments from the LISD. The purpose of this process is to ensure that effective innovations proposed for implementation have the greatest likelihood of achieving identified outcomes that align with the mission and vision of the LISD. The ultimate determination for which effective innovations will be adopted and implemented by the ISD is the responsibility of the superintendent and, when appropriate, the Board of Education, with input from the leadership and management team. Determinations will be made as objectively as possible, considering at least the following: need, fit, resources, evidence, readiness, capacity, and sustainability. The process walks the applicant or applicants through a process that you may normally find in a competitive grant process. Some of the questions involved are the following: give a detailed description of the effective innovation and why it was selected for adoption. What identified need, ideally supported by data, will this innovation serve? How does the innovation align with current LISD programs and services, including the current LISD staffing levels and capabilities? How does the innovation fit with the adopted school improvement plan? Also with the district vision and mission. Describe in detail the financial, personnel, policy, training, and other resources which will be necessary to ensure the effective implementation of the effective innovation. When known, please include the specific costs. Describe how the effective innovation will be sustained throughout its implementation. Also, describe in detail any current programs or practices that could be discontinued to allow for the implementation of the effective innovation that is being proposed. All organizations have a limited capacity, and all too often we never stop doing anything, simply add more and more and wonder why we are not successful. Another element will be to describe the anticipated qualitative and quantitative outcomes that are expected as a result from the implementation of this effective practice. When possible, they'll indicate the outcomes that are expected to be realized and the strategies that will be used to measure the outcomes. The following are the steps that will be followed for the successful adoption of an effective innovation. Step 1, the ISD service area leadership, so whether it's CTE, special education, school support services, or non-instructional services, will review the effective innovation proposal. A determination will be made by the appropriate supervisor of that area if the effective innovation proposal should be forwarded on to the LISD management team for further consideration. Step 2 will involve the effective innovation proposal will be submitted to the ISD management team, where the proposal will be reviewed and scored using an ISD effective innovation review rubric. Step 3, if the effective innovation scores 20 points or more during the ISD management team review, then the innovation would move on to the ISD leadership team for further analysis. The ISD leadership team will score the proposed effective innovation using the ISD Effective Innovation Proposal Review rubric. In the event the effective innovation does not score 20 or more points during this review, the superintendent may, at his or her discretion, elect to move the effective innovation onto the leadership team for consideration. Furthermore, any innovation that does not score high enough to move on to the leadership team for further consideration may be revised and resubmitted for review through this process. The fourth step, if the effective innovation scores 20 points or more during the ISD leadership team review, the leadership team will give further consideration to the implementation of this innovation. The leadership team will determine if the effective implementation is to be implemented and will determine what strategies are necessary to ensure this implementation. In the event that it does not score 20 points or more during the leadership team review, then the superintendent may, at his or her discretion, elect to move the effective innovation into the implementation phase. Furthermore, any effective innovation that does not score high enough to move on for further consideration may be revised and resubmitted for review throughout this process. Finally, step 5, an implementation plan will be developed, identifying implementation strategies, timeline, and budget. If this sounds very involved, it is, but it is necessary and welcome for new innovations to be successful. Please know the intention of this detailed process is not to discourage innovation or new things, but rather to think them through, plan for success, and provide the necessary supports to be successful. All too often, some steps have existed, but key ones were left out or overlooked, and therefore, the project or program does not reach its maximum potential. A similar process will be used to evaluate initiatives that are not having the desired outcomes and may need to be sunset. We are excited about this new development, and most importantly, because it can help bring great opportunities for success to the students of Lenawee County. Please watch for more developments where this process will be used. Please feel free to contact me either by email at mark.haag, H-A-A-G, @lisd.us, or by phone at 517-265-1628. Thank you.